Hi, welcome to Dr. Medic's Juxtaglomerular Apparatus. So its definition is specialized organ situated near the glomerulus, each nephron. Specialized organ situated near the glomerulus of each nephron. The structure of glomerulus has three different structures. One is the macula densa. The second one is the extraglomerular mesangial cells, and the third one is the juxtaglomerular cells. First one is the macula densa, second one is the extraglomerular mesangial cells, and the third one is the juxtaglomerular cells. So first one is the macula densa. Macula densa is the end portion of the thick ascending segment before it opens into distal convoluted tubule. It is situated between the afferent arterioles and efferent arterioles of the same nephron, very close to the afferent arteriole, formed by tightly packed cuboidal epithelial cells. So this is the macula densa. Macula densa is the end of the thick ascending segment before it converted into the distal convoluted tubule, and it is situated between the efferent arteriole and efferent arteriole, and it is very close to the efferent arteriole, and the cells are formed by the cuboidal epithelial cells. Second structure is the extraglomerular mesangial cells, and is situated in the triangular region bound by the efferent arterioles and macula densa. So triangular region, and is also called at the agranular cells or lattice cells or Kurmagite cells. Another type of mesangial cells situated in between the glomerular capillaries, and they are called the glomerular mesangial cells or interglomerular mesangial cells, and these support the glomerular capillary loops by surrounding the capillary in the form of cellular network. These cells play a major role in the regulating the glomerular filtration by their contractile property. Glomerular mesangial cells are phagocytic in nature or phagocytic in nature. These cells also secrete inter glomerular interstitial matrix, prostaglandin and cytokines also. So once again I will repeat all these things. The second structure is the extraglomerular mesangial cells, which is inbound in the triangular area afferent arteriole, efferent arteriole, and upper is the macula densa. So this one is the extraglomerular mesangial cells, and it is also known as the agranular cells or lattice cells or Kurmagite cells. And the another type of mesangial cells is situated in between the glomerular capillaries or called the glomerular mesangial cells or interglomerular mesangial cells. These cells support the glomerular capillary loops by surrounding the capillaries and form the cellular network, and these cells play an important role in the regulating the glomerular filtration by their contractile property. And the glomerular mesangial cells is phagocytic in nature, and these cells also produce the glomerular interstitial matrix, prostaglandin and cytokines. The third structure is the juxtaglomerular cell. It is a smooth muscle cells situated in the walls of the afferent arterioles just before it enters the Bowman's capsule. Smooth muscle cells present in the tunica media, tunica adventia, and juxta cells also called at the granular cells because of the presence of secretory because of the presence of secretory granules in the cytoplasm. GC cells form a thick curve which is also known as the polar cushion or Polkison around the efferent arteries before it enters the Bowman capsule. Next is the functions of the juxtaglomerular apparatus. The primary function of juxtaglomerular apparatus is the secretion of hormones and regulates the glomerular blood flow and regulates the glomerular filtration rate also. So first one is the secretion of hormones. The juxtaglomerular secretes renin and prostaglandin. So renin. Renin is secreted from the juxtaglomerular cells, which is a peptide with 340 amino acids, and renin and angiotensin forms the renin-angiotensin system, which is a hormone system which plays a major role in the maintenance of the blood pressure. Stimulants for the renin secretion is the secretion of renin stimulated by the four factors, which are the fall of BP, which is the first one is the fall of BP. And the second one is the reduction of the extracellular fluid volume. And the third factor is the increases sympathetic activity. And the fourth stimulating factor is the decreased load of sodium and chloride in macula densa renin-angiotensin system. So, the renin is released into the blood. The renin acts as a specific plasma protein or called the angiotensinogen or renin substrate. These are called the alpha 2 globulin. By the activity of renin, the angiotestogen, which this is the angiotestogen converted into a decapeptide, called the angiotensin 1, which converted into angiotensin 2, which is also called the octapeptide. By the activity of angiotensin 2, the angiotensin converting enzyme, angiotensin converting enzyme secreted from lungs. So the angiotensin 2's half-life is very short, 1 to 2 minutes only. So it degrades into the heptapeptide, which is the angiotensin 3. The angiotensin 3 by the angiotensinase present in the RBCs and vascular beds in the tissues, present in the RBC and vascular beds in the tissue. And again the angiotensin 3 is converted into angiotensin 4, which is called the hexapeptide. Actions of angiotensin. Angiotensin 1 physiologically inactive and serves only as a precursor of angiotensin 2. Angiotensin 2 is the most active form, and these actions are on blood vessels, adrenal cortex, kidney, brain, and other actions also. First actions are on blood vessels. Angiotensin 2 increases the blood pressure, directly acting on blood vessels, causing the vasoconstriction. Angiotensin 2 is a potent constrictor of the arterioles. It increases the blood pressure indirectly by increasing the release of non-adrenaline from the prostaglandin sympathetic fibers. Non-adrenaline is generally a vasoconstrictor. Second actions are adrenal cortex. Angiotensin 2 stimulates the zona glomerulosa, secretes aldosterone, acts on renal tubules, increases the retention of sodium. Sodium is the responsible for the elevation of blood pressure. Third actions are on kidneys. Angiotensin 3 regulates the glomerular filtration rate by two ways. The first one is the constriction of afferent artery, which is causing the decreased filtration after an initial increase. So the second one is the constricts the glomerular mesangial cells, leading to the decrease of surface area of glomerular capillaries and filtration. Fourth action are on brain. Angiotensin 2 increases the baroreceptor reflex, which indirectly increases the BP. Baroreceptor reflex is responsible for increasing the BP. It increases the H2 intake by stimulating the thirst center, increases the secretion of corticotropin releasing hormone CRH from hypothalamus, in turn increases the secretion of ACTH, that is adrenocorticotropic hormone, from the pituitary. Angiotensin 2 increases the secretion of antidiuretic hormone from hypothalamus also. Other actions. Angiotensin 2 acts as a growth factor in heart, and it is thought as a causing muscular hypertrophy and cardiac enlargement. Angiotensin 3 increases the BP, stimulates the aldosterone secretion from adrenal cortex. Angiotensin 3 100% adrenocortical stimulating activity and acts on 40% of vasopressor activity of angiotensin 2. Angiotensin 4 acts as an adrenocortical stimulating hormone and vasopressor activity. Second hormone is prostaglandin, produced in the extraglomerular mesangial cells of juxtaglomerular apparatus. Secrete the prostaglandin, also secreted by the interstitial cells of medulla, called the type 1 medullary interstitial cells. Second one is the secretion of other substances. Extraglomerular mesangial cells of juxtaglomerular apparatus secrete cytokines like interleukin-2 and tumor necrosis factor. Macula densa secretes the thromboxane A2. Third one is the regulation of glomerular blood flow and glomerular filtration rate. Macula densa of juxtaglomerular apparatus plays an important role in the feedback mechanism called the tubular-glomerular feedback mechanism, which regulates the renal blood flow and glomerular rate.